Hello, Gemini. This is Gypsy Spirit here with you, and thank you so much for being a subscriber to my Patreon page. I certainly do appreciate it. But let's go ahead and get started on your weekly reading for September 5th through September 11th. Gemini. Two of Pentacles in reverse. All of your cards in reverse today, honey. Two of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Two of Wands in reverse. What is going on in the world of the Gemini? We got the Two of Pentacles, honey. You're not finding balance. Everything is scattered and unbalanced. You're living, I'm getting the feeling that for some of you, you're burning the candle at both ends. You know, maybe work, social life. I'm feeling for some of you, you're so overwhelmed with marriage and just the whole married thing and taking care of children and house and trying to upkeep your job, trying to find balance and all of that. For some of you, I'm also getting that there is a problem with finding balance with money, that you're working, and you just don't seem to have enough income coming in to meet all the bills that you need, and then to have some extra for yourself. So it's like, you know, if you're a Gemini, there's some sort of imbalance in your life. These are general readings. If you want a more personal reading, you can get one. But for you Geminis, there is something's not balanced in your life, and you know, I see the Devil card. What the hell is the Devil card doing in reverse, Gemini? What are you doing? So there's like some sort of something, a behavior, a habitual behavior. It could be drugs, alcohol, eating, smoke, and you name your story. You know what you have habits, you know what your bad habits are. I don't have to point them out to you. So it's like there's something, a behavior or a thought or belief that you're hanging on to that is just stunting you. It's like not allowing you to grow, because I see this Two of Pentacles here that's in reverse, but yet there's something that's keeping you trapped, because you can get balance. You know, you can get balance, Gemini. You're smart, because Geminis know how to manipulate things. They know how to manipulate people. They know how to manipulate things to work in their life. And so Gemini, you're smart. You know that you can overcome this. You will overcome it if you put your mind to it. So it's like, but there's something that you are not willing to give up, and that the universe is telling you, give it up. Give it up. You know, it could be, you know, it could be anything. Like I said, it could be like a self-doubt, negative things that you tell yourself that you can't do or whatever, or that you're not good enough for this or for that, or good enough to be with this person or that person, whatever that your story is. And you got to change that shit, because that's what it is. It's bullshit. It's like leaving you as a prisoner. It's stunting your growth, and you need to like let go of whatever is not serving you, honey. I mean, you want everything. The universe wants only good things for you, but we're stuck in these damn human bodies, and trust me, I hate it, because my human body, it's not, it's old now, but it's never been skinny or anything. But we get stuck in these human bodies with our human minds, and we think sometimes the worst things about ourselves, or we do such crazy things to sabotage ourselves. Stop doing it. You have to like see the forest through the trees, because when you start when you stop doing whatever it is, whether it's a bad thought about yourself or other people, whatever, or belief system that you have, you know, I'll tell you a story. I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. I still live in Charleston, South Carolina. But my dad could have been Archie Bunker. He looks like him, acts like him, talks like him, the whole 9 yards. And I always said my dad could have played the role of Archie Bunker and been a millionaire, and he wouldn't have been acting like Harold O'Connor did. But I grew up in the South, and my dad, like many of my other friends and even my black friends, they had the same thing happen to them with their parents. But my dad would always tell me, if you marry a black man, I will disown you. So I grew up with that belief, like, oh my God, I can't marry a black man because if I do, my dad's going to disown me. I mean, my dad was so prejudiced. He's gotten a little better lately, but I stay far away from him. But, I'm single and I've been through so many relationships. And one day I realized, I was like, you know what? I probably missed the love of my life because I believed something that my dad told me. I got caught up into that trap, and the universe probably had the most beautiful man picked out for me, and I walked away because of some old belief or something in my dad that was passed on to me. And I had to let that shit go, And so like now, I mean, I see all men, I don't care what color or whatever they are. I'm like, oh, baby, you're kind of cute. So I'm all open now. But there was a time that I wasn't, and I went through some heartaches and things. And the funny, I will share this with you also. The funny thing about it is my grandmother, my dad's mom, grew up on a farm in the South. And I have looked at that woman. She's passed away. She's a wonderful woman. But aside from her skin, she had all the inherited, how can I say, like, she looked like she could have belonged to an African American family because of her hair and mostly because of her hair. And all of my dad and all of his family have that kind of hair that is a African American trait. And I told my dad one time, I said, I believe that if we went back and looked at our tree, our history tree, family tree, that we would find that we have indeed some African American ancestors. With him, I have to say black ancestors. So that's what he understands. But anyway, he flipped out. And he wanted to know, like, well, what makes you think that, And I told him, I said, look at Granny, look at some of the traits that she has, of that heritage. And of course he didn't want to hear it. But anyway, I know I got off on this thing because, I look back on it and I think, how stupid was I to listen to that? But, it was a different time and place. And thank God I got out of it. And so whatever it is that's holding you back, that's like blocking the wonderful abundance that can come into your life, let go of it. If it's something physical that you're doing, like substance abuse or whatever, thought, belief, let go of it. Just let it go. And I know it's not easy because, I grew up with it, grew up with that thing, and it just, it would really get to me sometimes. And then finally one day I just woke up and it was like, no. And I had to do a lot of spiritual growing too to get to where I'm at. But anyway, we also see the Two of Wands in reverse. And that's also telling me that, this is all, you're trying to find balance. You're not giving something up that you need to give up. Because when you do, it's like the Two of Wands. It's like bringing your spiritual world and your physical world together into one that allows you to live more in peace and harmony within yourself, other people, the universe. But when this is turned upside down, yes, there's no balance in that. You're not finding the growth that you need so that you can so that you can be on a much higher level and see the forest through the trees and understand things in a whole different perspective. You're still like where I was many, many years ago when I was like in my 20s, where my dad had put me. I'm not blaming it on him. I mean, that was his upbringing, and that's what he knew. But I had to do a lot of soul searching and removing, like cutting those beliefs, all those things that was not in my best interest, and also wasn't in the best interest of other people. Other people around me, my neighbors or friends or whatever. So you got to cut that. Whatever it is that you need to cut, Gemini, you're the one that knows, not me. So cut it. That's what your week is going to be like. I mean, there's something that's going to bring you to a realization that there's something in your life that you got to cut in order for you to get the balance that you need in your life. And I told you that story because I feel like, not because I feel like there's some people that, some Geminis that are, prejudiced or whatever, or racist, but I told you that story so as an example as how we are brought up to believe certain things. And it's not truth. There's no truth to it. So, whatever your mother or grandmother, some of those things have been handed down through generations. And so it's time for all of us right now to break that crap so that we can, rise to a higher level as spiritual beings as well as human beings. Like I said, we're these physical beings with a spirit trapped in we're spiritual beings trapped in a human body. There we go. So I got a little tongue twisted there. But yeah, this is your week to kind of ponder on that and figure out what it is that you need to give up. You know your story. I can't tell you, but if you want a personal reading, I can give you that. But in the meantime, think on it, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in, Gemini.